Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Pipeline Pioneers, a SalesIntel show where our focus is to help the community learn from the experts, from the practitioners, from the individual contributors, as well as the leaders as to how to generate the most optimal pipeline. As we know, pipeline is the heart and blood of any company. And generating pipeline is a team sport. You can't just assign it to BDR team or marketing team, right? It's a responsibility of the entire team. That's why they call it a team sport. Generating pipeline at SalesIntel, we call it's a team sport. It takes a village. It truly takes a village to generate the pipeline that converts to revenue. Today, I'm excited to have Jamie Yates with me. Jamie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to share some of my learnings over the past couple of years, especially last year.
Yeah, same here. Same here. We are excited, Jamie. Jamie, to start, why don't you tell our community, our listeners about yourself and how, in your role, you contribute to the revenue of your business?
So in my current role, so this all ties together. In my current role, I am a client account executive at Outreach. And I was a SDR for the enterprise segment. One of the top performers on my team, generated over $9 million in pipeline in the past 18 months. So if I broke it down into last year, probably most of that was last year. But right now I work with customers. I have a small book of business that I just regularly check in with customers to make sure that they're getting the most out of Outreach. And, from a pipeline generation perspective, I look for retention and expansion opportunities.
That's great. So you're generating pipeline from the existing customers.
Exactly. Yep.
That's great. That is great. Look, revenue is new business as well as existing business renewal and expanding the existing customer base. So every pipeline matters. So Jamie, last year was tough for a lot of companies, right? Companies didn't hit their numbers. There was not enough pipeline. The pipeline that was there wasn't accurate. We all made mistakes. When you look back at 2023, is there something that jumps out to say, you know what, I wish I had done things differently? And what's a learning that you'll share with the community?
Well, I think that this is a learning that I'm definitely not alone in this, and our company also learned this as well. That buying cycles are longer. There are more people involved in deals. So just because you've generated an opportunity doesn't mean that opportunity is going to close at all or anytime soon. So you have to be. I think the most important thing that we learned was that we were missing opportunities within our own customer base. So as a result, Outreach changed tactics completely, and a lot of the SDRs are now client account executives. So we have switched gears. Some of us are still new logo, but for my team, for the folks that I work with, we work only with our customers, and it's just been really great, to be honest. Like I've always been someone who's really focused on customer service, and as a new logo rep, I didn't get to do that as much. It was nice to introduce the platform to people, but I really like working with current customers. So that's been our biggest lesson, is renewing that focus on our customers, becoming even more customer obsessed, and focusing in on creating customers that are obsessed with us. Like that's the goal.
It's great. No, it's much easier, right, to sell into existing customers and make sure they're happy. And if they are happy, the opportunities are always coming from the existing customers. You're top of mind. So that's a great learning. When you look at 2024, it's a new year, new budgets, new initiatives. What is it? Any experiment that you are excited about, or you say, you know what, we're going to try to do this and see if it yields any results?
Well, yeah, I think that my entire new role, we had growth accounts executives before, and we had customer success. But so I personally, as you may have seen from my LinkedIn, I was a doula for many years. And what I did as a doula was essentially advocate and support my clients, make sure they had the right resources. So in a way, I feel like I'm getting back to that kind of doula type role where I'm more of an advocate and um, a supporter and a provider of resources. So I think that this kind of more account management track that we're on is, I think, our biggest experiment this year. And I think it's going to be successful. I'm hearing that a lot from my customers as well. I was on a customer meeting last week, and I was listening to my customer, and I was just nodding my head as he was saying, well, we've decided to take focus away from outbound and new logo, and just really focus in on our current accounts and how we can grow existing business. So I think it's a trend.
Got it. Got it. So I'm assuming Outreach already had account management function in the previous year. This year, you're just doubling down on that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we did have it, and I would say doubling down is tripling down.
Tripling down on that.
Yeah.
That's great. That is great. That it has been a trend. I've heard that from many companies that they are focusing more and more on the existing customers. So that is awesome. Let's switch the gears.
Okay.
I'm going to share my screen. We're going to have an interactive, sort of game.
Yeah.
As you know, generating pipeline is not only a team sport, but it's also a multi-channel effort, right? Your pipeline comes from different channels: sales-led, marketing, partnership, existing customers, as you mentioned here, right? And we have here 100 pennies, and your goal is to distribute these 100 pennies in a way across all these channels that generate the most optimal pipeline for your business this year.
Okay. Well, looking at this chart, I can say right away. So obviously events are fun. I think that those are great, but I'm not going to allocate any pennies to those because I think I'm going to go with let's start with customer-led growth. Let's put like 30 pennies in there.
Perfect. We'll put
I think that being a client account executive, I think I'd be remiss if I didn't allocate a considerable amount of resources to that. But I do also really, I think along the same lines is community-led growth as well. I think that and really marketing and community should go hand in hand, and they do. So you could put this in either buckets, but let's do 20 in the community led growth.
Very good. Community-led growth.
And I'm going to put some pennies in partnership too, maybe just 10 in partnerships, because I think that our partners are, because we work with folks that are using different tech products that integrate well with us, that play well with us. Salesforce is a great partner that we have. We also work with several intent providers that are great. So got to put a little bit in partnership.
Sure.
And product, I think I'm going to allocate at least 20 pennies there, because I think that part of the strength of outreach is that and I think it's I can only speak from the perspective of outreach. I'm actually fairly new to tech sales, so I've learned a ton working here, and I will say that listening to our customers and what our customers need has really led to some incredible innovation at the company. So I'm a big fan of the product led things. And then I'm going to put my 20 pennies in other, because, and let me explain what I think other is.
Yeah.
As you know, or may not know, part of the way that I use the LinkedIn platform is to kind of draw attention to and advocate for salespeople in a and encourage salespeople to think about their mental health and how they balance the stress of being in sales to um, also being a top performer. So I'm all of, I'm a high performing salesperson, but I'm also a high anxiety salesperson. So I think more than anything, well, not more than anything, but when we're talking about generating pipeline and we're talking about doing our jobs well, I think salespeople need support from their leadership to take care of their mental health, encouragement to take time off, and also just um, having empathetic leadership. So those 20 pennies for me would be spent on things like training for sales managers on how to help people who are struggling through various life situations, and also offering mental health mental health services as a benefit.
Very, very interesting. Very interesting. So investing in your own people, right?
Right. Yeah.
Through training, through mental health. This is very, very interesting. So, Jamie, thank you so much for participating in this. Now, let's take a look at the results. So, this sheet shows you how community, I've talked to hundreds of folks, how community has has decided to invest their 100 pennies, some part of last year and this year. And now I'm going to overlay your data on top of it. When you look at this orange graph, or the lines overlaid on top of the community's blue line, is there something that surprises you, that jumps out to say, what, I never thought this would be the case?
Well, I'm not surprised that sales led is in the top, because you're talking to salespeople primarily, and I think that a lot of the responsibility for generating pipeline obviously less rests on salespeople, and salespeople are also very I don't want to say egotistical, but that's not the word. We like to own that. We like to own the pipeline generation. We like to take credit for all the pipeline generation. I noticed that I didn't say marketing, but I did say community. So that's I'm surprised that community isn't higher. I think that people are sleeping on community in general. So that's a little surprising. And but yeah, other than that, I'm not particularly, nothing about this is particularly shocking. I think that my chart, my orange lines deserve some some reflection on people though. So if anybody wants to chat about that, I'm happy to dive deeper.
Well, thank you, Jamie. Thank you. We really appreciate you coming on the show and participating and playing this 100 pennies game. I'm sure the community is going to learn a lot from this, and you have given the offer to the community members to reach out to you directly on, I'm assuming LinkedIn is the right channel, right?
LinkedIn, yeah. I'm always on LinkedIn. I try to post as often as possible, but I definitely live there every day as a salesperson, and staying abreast, and I really appreciate this opportunity to amplify my own voice, and in turn amplify other people's voices, because we're not all the same, and I think the diversity in ideas is so valuable.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, Jamie. Really appreciate your time, and looking forward to staying in touch.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.